Hi there, Crystal Thompson here for Simon Says Stamp. Today we have the newest collaboration with Studio Katia and Simon Says Stamp. Today I am creating an embossed watercolor card using the beautiful floral bunch just released for this celebration of Stamptember. So I have that floral bunch ready to go and such a pretty stamp. And I have just the stamps here for you. We're going to begin by adding some cornstarch to the watercolor cardstock, and this is just your watercolor cardstock. I'll be linking everything down below on the video, and then we're going to be doing some cornstarch onto that beautiful mint cardstock. And so we're going to have two of these. These are 4¼ by 5½, and one's going to serve as the background, one's going to be for a sentiment, and then that awesome watercolor cardstock is going to be for the florals. So I'm going to grab my mini Misty and I'm going to set that watercolor cardstock ready to go. I suggest kind of sticking it down with some tape or your magnets. Then I'm going to grab that super sweet floral, and I really love this. However, I wanted to make something that was kind of whimsy and pretty and very delicate without having to do a ton of coloring. So how do we do that? We do that with watercolors, of course. So I'm going to go grab my watercolors and I'm going to set that down. We're going to go grab the Simon Says Stamp watermark and embossing ink, which is just clear ink that dries very slowly, and it allows you to grabs on to the embossing powder, and we're going to be using the Simon Says Stamps fine white embossing powder. It is absolutely perfect for stamps such as these that have little details and have a ton of little marks that you really want to show. So we're going to press this down. So you're probably wondering why I'm using cornstarch. Well, cornstarch prevents some of that staticness. It removes it, and that way you can get the embossing powder right onto that. So as you can see on my camera, we have that pretty image, and I have this awesome container where I'm adding the heat embossing powder courtesy of Jennifer McGuire with this awesome tip for using your embossing powder. So I'm going to shake off any of that excess. I'm going to bring in my heat gun and we're going to heat set this. It's going to melt that embossing powder and really bring that image to life. It's kind of hard to see on the camera, but once you start adding that watercolor, it really comes up to life, and it's super pretty and easy way to watercolor florals. We have set those florals aside. We're going to begin working on our sentiments. So we have the thinking of you, and I thought this was really pretty, and I love creating cards with one stamp set. It really makes you take advantage of the beautiful sets and different sentiments included in the kit. So again, we're going to stamp it with that watermark embossing ink. Then we're going to bring in our fine white detail embossing powder, cover that up, and then again, we're going to bring our heat gun, melt that off, and he said, a little tip, don't leave your gun on for too long or you will end up kind of burning off that embossing powder. You'll have to repeat this process. And then you can see my cornstarch, no worries. Once this is all cooled off, we're going to just wipe it off with a lint-free cloth, and it's going to work really well. Now I'm going to begin the watercoloring. This awesome palette I got, and Simon Says Stamp as well. Again, this is a koi, and all products will be listed down below in the video or on the video. And I'm speeding this up because I wanted to show you how quick and easy it is to watercolor florals that have a ton of detail. So as you can see, I'm not being super careful about it. One of the biggest tips that I can give you when watercoloring a large floral bunch such as this one is that you jump around from flower to flower, kind of going from one end to the other. And the reason why is that you do not want your watercolor to run into the other color and then create this weird brownish color that doesn't look like a flower at all. And so by doing that, by skipping around, it gives us just enough time to dry up and just get some clean coloring onto your watercolor floral bunch that we got going on here. And so if you want to let it dry just for a couple minutes or a couple seconds before moving on, feel free to do so. Once it's dried, I did come back and added some more details with the same colors. I'm trying to create a little mint color there on the edge to match my cardstock, but you know, we do the best that we can. So you want to just add a very nice quick base, and then I came back and added some more layers to really get that watercolor look. All right, so once that is dry, I'm bringing in my scissors and I'm going to trim up my beautiful floral. You can go get the matching die set if you like. I don't have that because I got to create a video for you guys. So I am going to cut around. I'm going to trim this up just following the lines of the stamp set. I'm not going to show you all the way through, but I'm going to trim it. I'm going to add a piece of foam adhesive at the back and let it sit. So there you go. You have the awesome cut and there's my foam. Now we're going to go grab our sentiment. So we're going to repeat the process with this using a round cut. And what I mean by round is that you don't have any sharp edges to it. You turn your paper to create those awesome round turns. And it makes it look like you had a die for this. It gives you that shadow stamping, that shadow base that you get by using a die cut. And there you have it. We're going to bring in some foam adhesive and our card base. So again, this is the same kind of card base that we had for that Thinking of You, just a beautiful little mint turquoise. I'm going to bring the Altenew spray. This is pure white, and I'm going to splatter this. I'm going to remove the back end of the sprayer and just flick it onto the cardstock. If you do not have white spray, the way you can do this is go get some white watercolor. Most palettes have white. Add some water, make a nice paste, and then splatter it onto your cardstock. It gives it some really cool dimension. It gives it a background. However, you still have that really pretty color of cardstock. You can let it dry, but for the purposes of this video, I'm gonna show you what I did. I'm gonna remove the backing of that double-sided foam. I'm gonna bring in my flower, and I don't want any of the little flowers or leaves to stick out from the card because I wanna be able that it's gonna fit into the proper envelope and not have to pay for some foam, extra foam or extra bubble wrap. Gonna go grab my foam adhesive, and so I'm gonna cut a little strip. I'm gonna fold this. I'm gonna show you how to, instead of having to cut it in half, you fold it in half, kind of like hot dog style, right? We're back to elementary school here. And then we're gonna remove the backer. And so now you're gonna have two sides of sticky, and what you're going to do is put one side of the sticky down onto the die cut, and then the other one is going to go down onto your main surface, in this case being the flowers. And you can cut any excess if you made it a bit too long. And that's exactly what we're going to do. And then we're going to bring this down into focus, of course, because I am focusing down on that awesome card. And I'm going to place it right down over in the left corner, left center, excuse me. And we're going to press down and that let it hold. Be sure that your watercolor is completely dry before you go sticking anything to it, or it will not hold on. Last but not least, I'm going to bring in my Nuvo drops. These are transparent and these are super fun, and I love doing some embellishment with the translucent Nuvo drops, especially when you have a solid cardstock such as this, because it's going to magnify that really cool cardstock. It still has a little bit of a blue tinge, so if you wanted to do this with clear, it works too. And I am going to follow around and just do itty bitty drops, and you're going to see it here in the photos here shortly. I just did a ton of little drops and added more of a dimension to the card. And guys, that does it for me. Thank you so much for joining me today with the awesome Stamptember celebration using Studio Katia and Simon. Happy birthday, Heidi. It's her birthday month and we're celebrating this. And guys, if you enjoyed the video, please give the video a thumbs up. Any comments, questions, leave them down below and I will try to answer them for you. This is Crystal Thompson. Have an amazing day.